Welcome back to the Business Immigration Benchmark. I'm your host, Laura Blanears. Today we're chatting about the October 2025 Visa Bulletin. For more information all about the Visa Bulletin intricacies, complications, tune in to WR's Chatting with Charlie. We've got our very own master of the Visa Bulletin, Charlie Oppenheim, and led by Sharina Garcia. So if you haven't already and you want to learn more about the Visa Bulletin, tune in to their monthly program. But today I wanted to talk about a very interesting phenomenon that we see from time to time where the employment based third category runs more favorably than the second based employment category. And this is coming into play in the October 2025 Visa Bulletin for Indian nationals. So I want to talk about how global mobility leaders can structure their program in the weeks ahead, or if you're sort of having this conversation now, this is very relevant to how to manage, large programs that may be running into this issue and lessons learned from when this happened back in 2020 and 2022. So with that, let's dive right in. The USCIS confirmed dates for filing, or Chart B, on the October 2025 Visa Bulletin, and it's really favorable. There was significant jumps forward for many categories, but the one I really want to tune into today, like I said, is the category for Indian foreign nationals. And the reason why this is so complicated and interesting and exciting is because Indian nationals have the longest waits in the employment-based category. So folks in this category are very excited to file, have been waiting for over 12 years. Many of them at this point have priority dates of 2013. Now, what becomes complicated is that many of these Indian foreign nationals have an employment-based 2 I-140 immigrant petition approval notice. And the more favorable date for filing as of this month, or October's Visa Bulletin, is in the employment based third category. So it is more favorable to file as soon as you can. And what that means is the employment based third category is accepting priority dates with a sort of a longer runway. So more Indian nationals are eligible to file in the employment based third category than are eligible to file in the employment based second category. And the reason why this is confusing or significant is if someone qualifies for EB2, they can downgrade their petition and file their adjustment of status application in the employment based third category. Now, I would tell you this issue presented itself in October of 2020 when we saw the EB3 India category launch forward. And within the industry was a huge opportunity for foreign nationals, or Indian foreign nationals, that is, to put their AOS, I-485, final step in the green card on record with the USCIS. So there's a significant motivation and a significant benefit to do that. And there was a huge rush. We did it. Everybody did the downgrade. And then what we saw was in the months afterwards, a huge retrogression. And what that ended up with is in 2022, there was a huge reversal where EB2 India then became more favorable for final action. And so then what had happened is programs rushed and foreign nationals rushed to then upgrade the filings that were still pending with the USCIS to the EB2 category. And this just creates what I feel is a huge traffic jam, right? We've got everybody rushing in to file the downgrades for EB3 to get their green cards on file, which again, significant benefit. But what we end up seeing then is the lane open in the EB2 and then everybody rush and jam into that line. And practically, there is no formal method to reconnect the pending adjustment of status with a previously approved I-140. So when you're sort of switching lanes, so to speak, from EB2 to EB3 back to EB2, the government doesn't really have a formal process to know what's going on. In my experience, these cases have ended up pending much, much longer with the USCIS than if the individual held the course and stayed in their lane, so to speak. So that's a lot of jargon. Let me break it down. I think we're faced with the question, and program managers, global mobility leaders are faced with the question of whether the program should support a downgrade for Indian nationals in the EB3. And I think you'll want to carefully consider from a program and how large your program is, whether that's something the company is willing to financially sponsor or will pass the costs on to the foreign national. I think we want to look at a case by case basis whether the foreign national would benefit from this downgrade to file the AOS. I think many foreign nationals are excited and anxious to file their adjustment of status application, so many will rush to do the downgrade. But I think that might be short sighted because ultimately, I think we'll see the reversal and see that EB2 will run faster or more favorably for final action in the months to come. That's a prediction. I'm happy here to, eat my words in a few months if we don't see that happening. But this, again, like I said, happened in 2020, and then we saw the reversal in 2022, and a lot of those applications still remain pending. So I'm not saying that these individuals were penalized. I think there's a benefit for putting your adjustment of status application on file. I just think we want to be really careful and mindful of the consequences of what we're calling these traffic jams and the complexity that comes along with this on your file that may result in longer adjudication timeframes for these types of filings. I feel like this is really complex. It's really in the weeds. I'd love to have more conversations about this. So ping me on LinkedIn if you want some clarification on it. That's all to say, I don't recommend that programs rush to just benefit from putting these applications on file because they have consequences. And ultimately, what your program or as a global mobility will be faced with is if you're financially supporting these downgrades, and then ultimately when the Visa Bulletin reverses, are you also gonna financially support the request to upgrade the petition? So it becomes this cha-cha of upgrade, downgrade that, requires engaging the attorney to make all these filings for the foreign national to try to benefit from the faster processing, and ultimately, I'm not sure that the foreign national really benefits from a faster processing time. So lots of things to consider. It's an exciting time when the October Visa Bulletin comes out because it often is when we get to file all these adjustment of status, reach that milestone for our clients. So very exciting. Good luck to everyone filing, trying to meet that deadline by the end of October. And if you have questions about the complications of this EB2, EB3 conundrum, reach out. Would love to chat with you more. That's it for me here at the Business Immigration Benchmark. We'll catch you next time.